Pigeon racing is a popular hobby and sport that involves breeding, training, and racing homing pigeons. The birds are released from a set distance away from their home loft and timed on how long it takes them to return. Pigeon breeders aim to breed and train birds that can fly quickly and efficiently back home. An important consideration when selecting racing pigeons is their weight. Overly heavy birds may be at a disadvantage in racing events. The ideal weight for a racing pigeon depends on several factors like the distance of the race, weather conditions, and the individual bird's body type and wing size. In general, lighter birds are thought to be faster flyers. This is due to physics. A heavier body requires more energy to propel through the air. Extremely lightweight pigeons may also be at a disadvantage though, as they can get knocked off course more easily in windy conditions. Most experts recommend racing pigeons weigh between 12 to 18 ounces, with an ideal racing weight between 14 to 16 ounces. However, there are exceptions. Some big, muscular pigeons at the higher end of the range or even over 18 ounces have strong wing power and outstanding endurance. There are a few reasons an individual pigeon may become overweight for racing. Genetics play a big role. Some breeds and bloodlines tend to carry more weight. Feeding is also a major factor. Pigeons fed a high-calorie, high-protein diet with lots of grains and legumes will put on weight. Birds that are housed in small cages with limited space to exercise will also gain excess fat. Additionally, veteran pigeons retired from breeding or racing often become heavier as they age. Managing weight is an important part of preparing racing pigeons for competition. Here are some tips used by experienced flyers. Weigh pigeons regularly to monitor their weight. Weigh after feeding so measurements are consistent. Feed a grain mixture designed for racing. Combine carbs like barley or corn with protein sources like peas or beans. Limit high-fat seeds like safflower, sunflower, and peanuts. Restrict food intake during race season to prevent overeating. Feeding once per day or skipping a day now and then can help shed pounds. House birds in large lofts with adequate space to exercise and fly. Let out for daily flying time. Monitor for illnesses that may cause weight loss or gain. Treat any parasites, infections, or digestive issues. Cull overweight birds from the racing team. Breed leaner offspring by pairing lean cocks with active hens. Train and road test prospective racers. Heavy birds will fatigue more quickly at distance. Consider the race distance. Extra weight is not as detrimental for shorter sprint races under 100 miles. It makes more impact on endurance for long-distance races over 300 miles. While most flyers agree lighter is faster, a pigeon's racing ability cannot be judged on weight alone. Training, conditioning, nutrition, and genetics ultimately determine performance. An overweight top racer with heart and lung capacity will generally outperform an uncompetitive bird at racing weight. Finding a healthy optimal weight for each individual bird is the goal. With careful management, most heavy pigeons can be conditioned to reach competitive racing fitness. In conclusion, excess weight can be a disadvantage for racing homing pigeons. However, a modest amount of extra weight will not necessarily preclude a strong flyer from winning races, especially shorter distances. Every bird has an ideal racing weight range based on conformation, metabolism, health, and other intrinsic factors. Successful flyers regularly monitor and manage their pigeons to maintain optimal weight for racing performance. With weight control and proper training, even naturally big-bodied pigeons can excel in competition. The skill and experience of the pigeon fancier makes all the difference in optimizing each bird's flying potential. Are your pigeons too heavy for racing? There is a popular saying that mastering the art of feeding pigeons will make you a master at racing them. Although simplified, the weight of the pigeons before a race is crucially important. A significant percentage, around 75%, of pigeons sent to races are actually overweight. Many fanciers focus more on preparing their pigeons for shows rather than races. Most believe that pigeons should be plump and full, but this is entirely incorrect. Even for long-distance races, pigeons should be light and agile, with their muscles lying almost flat. In most cases, the way a pigeon handles itself at the end of a race should be the same as when it started the race, with just a small amount of fat to sustain it for hours. Combine this small amount of fat with excellent health and condition, and you will witness remarkable results. Can a fat pigeon win a race? Well, a fat pigeon might win against other fat pigeons, but lean pigeons have a significant advantage. Many prefer to send their pigeons in a large and full condition for long-distance races, but these well-fed pigeons will consistently be outperformed by properly prepared pigeons. When I mention lean, I do not mean skinny. Let's discuss feeding. Pigeons that undergo intense training require more nutritious feed to maintain their ideal body weight. However, efficiently trained pigeons that receive proper nutrition can achieve the same level of fitness with less road work. Pigeons do not require high-fat feed for more than 2 feedings in races under 400 kilometers. For longer distance races, they need no more than 4 to 5 feedings of rich seeds. Suppose you are shipping pigeons for a 700 kilometers race on Thursday with a Saturday liberation. In that case, you can feed them high-fat seeds once on Tuesday evening, twice on Wednesday, and once on Thursday. You may wonder what comprises the majority of their feed for the rest of the week. The answer is good quality barley. Utilizing barley can save you time on training and significantly reduce fuel costs. During most of the week, feed the pigeons 80% barley and around 20% racing mix. If you are racing on a Saturday for a race under 300 kilometers, you can provide them with all the rich seeds and racing mix, 16% protein, they desire on Thursday evening. On basket day, feed them a half ration of feed consisting of 50% barley and 50% rich fatty seeds. The most crucial day to feed the pigeons for a race is 2 days before liberation, not the day before. For races under 300 kilometers, when the pigeons return home, allow them to consume all the rich oily seeds, such as dehusked sunflower, and racing mix, 16% protein, they desire until dusk. The following day, return them to 80% barley. For long distance races, pigeons are permitted to eat as much rich feed and racing mix as they want upon return. They can continue to consume rich feed and racing mix on the day after their return. From the following day onward, they should return to an 80% barley diet. By following this feeding regimen, your pigeons will never become round or heavy after a strenuous workout. If your pigeons do bloat and feel excessively heavy a few days after a race, it indicates that your feeding system has missed the mark. My pigeons never experience such issues because I avoid overtraining them. Are there multiple ways to achieve success with feeding? Absolutely. However, I prefer to keep it simple by utilizing high-quality barley, which helps maintain weightless and well-conditioned pigeons without the need for excessive road work. Loft flying or moderate road work, coupled with a correctly balanced diet, will keep your pigeons in excellent shape. Speaking of loft flying, you would be astonished by how well pigeons exercise on the 80% barley mix. If there's one thing to take away from this advice, it's that you likely send your pigeons to races carrying excessive weight. Pigeons participating in long-distance races should not be full and plump. These pigeons are not migrating south for the winter, they are flying for 12 to 14 hours. Pigeons competing in races under 6 hours should be as light as a feather but not skinny. They should be buoyant, with their muscles lying flat rather than full. Even in headwind races, a lean and buoyant pigeon holds a significant advantage. Give this feeding method a try for your older birds, and witness remarkable improvements in body weight and condition.